The Adversity Advantage: How Black Women Entrepreneurs Are Revolutionizing Business by Breaking Every Rule. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I want to share something that fundamentally changed how I understand business, innovation, and human potential. It came from my recent conversation with Tranell Brown, whose groundbreaking research on Black women entrepreneurs isn't just impressive, it's revolutionary. Tranel isn't just a researcher, she's a visionary who has dedicated her life to uncovering hidden truths about resilience and innovation in places most business experts never bother to look. Her work is reshaping how we understand entrepreneurship, success, and the true power of turning obstacles into opportunities. When Tranel first shared her findings with me, I wasn't just surprised, I was transformed. We've all heard the sobering statistics about entrepreneurship. About 20% of small businesses fail within their first year. About 50% fail within 5 years. For women of color, those numbers get even more daunting. But here's where everything we thought we knew gets turned upside down. Despite facing higher rates of business failure, despite systemic barriers in funding and support, despite being told no more often than almost any other demographic group, Black women entrepreneurs aren't just surviving, they're driving the most significant growth in the entrepreneurial sector. From 2019 to 2023, Black women owned businesses saw average revenue increases of 2.7%, outpacing nearly every other group in America. Let that sink in for a moment. The very people facing the steepest climb are showing the strongest performance. This isn't just surprising, it's revolutionary. And it forces us to question everything we think we know about success, obstacles, and opportunity. What Tranel discovered through years of meticulous research is that what many see as obstacles have become engines for extraordinary innovation and resilience. Instead of being defined by adversity, Black women entrepreneurs are building powerful ecosystems, networks of mentorship, capital access, and community that create generational impact far beyond individual success. This is what I call the adversity advantage. And it's not just changing businesses, it's changing the world. Today, I want to share three profound insights from Tranel's research that explain this phenomenon and what it means for all of us, regardless of our background or industry. First, transformation comes from turning setbacks into strategies. Second, building together is more powerful than going alone. And third, visibility matters more than we've ever acknowledged. Let's start with that first insight. Transformation comes from turning setbacks into strategies. Consider Pinky Cole, founder of Slutty Vegan, a plant based fast food chain that has become a cultural phenomenon. Before launching this empire, Cole experienced a devastating setback. Her first restaurant business was destroyed by fire, and she had no insurance. Total loss. For most entrepreneurs, this will be the end of the story. Game over. But Cole didn't just recover, she completely reimagined what was possible. She took that painful lesson and built something entirely new. Rather than pursuing traditional restaurant financing, which is notoriously difficult for Black women to secure, she leveraged social media and pop up events to build buzz around her new concept. When she faced skepticism about launching vegan food targeted at urban communities, she didn't back down. She doubled down on her vision, creating bold, unapologetic branding that spoke directly to her community. The result? Slutty Vegan became profitable within months, expanded rapidly across multiple states, garnered celebrity endorsements, and maintained strong ties with underserved neighborhoods through philanthropic giving. Cole didn't succeed despite her earlier failure. She succeeded because of what that failure taught her about resilience and community engagement. As Tranell emphasized in our conversation, the most successful Black entrepreneurs reframe failures as lessons and use them as launch pads for greater achievement. They don't just overcome obstacles, they transform them into competitive advantages. This brings me to our second insight. Building together is more powerful than going alone. Dr. Christian Henderson's story perfectly illustrates this principle. As a public health professor, Henderson was frustrated by the lack of natural wellness products made specifically for and by Black communities. Rather than simply complaining about this gap, she created BOK plus GRN, an online marketplace featuring all natural products exclusively from Black artisans. But here's where it gets interesting. When Henderson approached potential funding partners, many didn't believe there was enough demand for products made by us for us. Rather than compromising her vision, Henderson bootstrapped initial operations using personal savings. What made BOK plus GRN successful wasn't just Henderson's individual determination, it was her commitment to building a collective ecosystem. She didn't just create a platform for her own products, she created a platform that elevated hundreds of other Black artisans and entrepreneurs. Today, BLK plus GRN hosts hundreds of brands with robust sales growth driven largely by word of mouth advocacy. The company has been featured in Essence Magazine and Oprah Daily, becoming a go to e commerce destination celebrating holistic wellness rooted in cultural heritage. Henderson's success demonstrates what Tranel calls collective empowerment through entrepreneurship. By building networks, mentorships, and resource sharing opportunities, Black women entrepreneurs are accelerating progress for their entire communities. This approach stands in stark contrast to the lone genius myth that dominates so much of our entrepreneurial storytelling. The most successful Black women entrepreneurs aren't just building businesses, they're building ecosystems that lift others as they climb. Our third insight might be the most powerful of all: visibility matters. Let me tell you about Savitri Wilson, founder of Resilia, a New Orleans based tech company focused on streamlining operations for nonprofits. Wilson faced significant challenges raising venture capital. Less than 1% of venture funding goes to Black women founders. She also navigated skepticism about her ability to scale a tech startup outside Silicon Valley. But Wilson persisted, leveraging local networks through accelerators like New Orleans Idea Village while building relationships with national investors who valued her unique market perspective. The result? Resilia raised over $11 million in Series A funding, the largest venture capital raise ever by a solo female founded tech firm in Louisiana. The company now serves thousands of organizations nationwide. Wilson's visibility as a successful Black woman tech founder has ripple effects far beyond her individual success. Her story breaks stereotypes, opens doors for future generations, and inspires others to pursue entrepreneurship with confidence. As Tranel emphasized in our conversation, the rise of successful Black women founders is changing what's possible for an entire generation of entrepreneurs. When young women see someone who looks like them succeeding in spaces where they've historically been excluded, it transforms their sense of what's possible. This is why representation isn't just a nice to have, it's a business imperative. The visibility of diverse founders expands our collective imagination about who can be successful and how success can be achieved. Now, I want to be clear about something. The success of these entrepreneurs isn't just inspiring for Black women, it's transformative for all of us. Because what these women have discovered through necessity are principles that can benefit any entrepreneur facing obstacles. The power of turning setbacks into strategies. The advantage of building collective ecosystems rather than going it alone. The importance of visibility and representation in expanding what's possible. These aren't just nice stories, they represent a fundamental shift in how business can and should be done. In this moment where we're collectively redefining strength, success, and sustainability, these entrepreneurs are showing us that true power comes not from pushing through at all costs, but from transforming obstacles into opportunities, building supportive communities, and making space for others to thrive. So, where do we go from here? The research is clear, the stories are compelling. But what matters now is what we do with this knowledge. I challenge each of you to examine the obstacles you're facing right now in your business, your career, your life, and ask yourself, what if this isn't just a barrier? What if this is the very thing that could become my greatest advantage? I challenge you to look at your networks and ask, am I building alone? Or am I creating an ecosystem where others can thrive alongside me? And I challenge you to consider your visibility. Who needs to see you succeed? Whose life might be transformed simply by witnessing your journey? Because the true power of what Tranell Brown has uncovered isn't just in understanding how Black women entrepreneurs are succeeding against the odds, it's in recognizing that their strategies for success contain wisdom that can transform every industry, every organization, and every life. The adversity advantage isn't just a concept, it's a revolution in how we understand success. And it's available to each of us right now if we have the courage to embrace it. So let's not just admire these stories, let's learn from them. Let's be transformed by them. And let's create a world where turning obstacles into advantages isn't the exception, it's the rule. Thank you.